I didn't click the go button until you guys were complete with whatever gross biological stuff you were just talking about. But welcome, everyone. Welcome to our Success Mastermind for Monday, the 16th of May. John Lavenia here with you back in Florida, ready for some thrills and excitement. I just got back from Salt Lake City, where I got to meet with just me and a lighter crowd this year, about 12,000 of my closest friends. So that worked out. It worked out still. People just getting, waking back up after the whole COVID thing. Got to see a bunch of my Canadian friends as well, some of which snuck out of the country. So there's that. And we're back. We're back in action. I want to first, a little bit of housekeeping. Tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, we're going through the first, I said 2 chapters last week, said read 2, actually read 4, because the first 2 chapters only get you like 25 pages into the book. It's about 200-page book. We'll do 50 pages a week, at least 50 pages as the crow flies through the hardcover version. So anyway, read the first 4 chapters of The Traveler's Gift, which probably, I tell you what, Glenn Henderson, one of our members and facilitators here, had never read the book. He knew that this was going to be the next book in our book study group. He bought it. He read the whole damn thing in a day. He was like, I couldn't put it down. So hopefully you guys have already dug into The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews. If not, dig in. The audiobook is quite fun too. And it's written as a novel, right? It's not like a hardcore book that you study, and all this. It's a story of a man who goes on an interesting journey. So you can definitely do the audio version of that as well. Anyway, what else that I have to announce? We do have, I don't think I have anything else to, we do have some other stuff hitting the calendar, which is going to be specific to people who are building specific businesses here within our community. So obviously what we're doing here with our general session, I know we got people watching online as well, which, by the way, this is all brought to you by the paying members of John Lavenia Success Mastermind. You can go to jlsuccessmastermind.com, get yourself a 2-week free trial. Guaranteed you are going to love being in this community. We've had so many breakthroughs here, and I'm not saying that because I'm John Lavenia. I'm saying that because I hear it from all of our members here who are tuning in right now. So good to see you, Ingrid, Linda, Allison, Missy, Catherine, Daisy's here, Gail, Lindsay. Wow, ladies club today. How fortunate am I? I get to hang out with, look at that. That just happened. So, but anyway, I'm looking to this week have on the calendar some strategic things where we strategize, right? We talk about strategies as it relates to specific business operations, because we got a lot of entrepreneurs here. So I'm going to get with you guys on that. Ingrid, I'm going to get with you on that specifically as well, to see how that could benefit you and various people. But the title of today is How to Be the Best. That sounds does that sound arrogant? Does that sound, all right, John, tell us all how to be the best. Be my guest. Yeah, you've apparently figured it out. I remember this interview I had with, it was a magazine where they asked me for the one big profound piece of advice for all of our readers that would transform their lives. And I remember this is the end of the interview. And I said, well, just decide who you are and be that. Oh, holy crap, John Lavenia, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, that was amazing. Well, we're all transformed. Okay, good. So, but really, I mean, in my book, integrity is everything, literally, pun intended, right? And so, yes, integrity is everything. Decide who you are and then be that. So how do you be the best? Well, decide that you are. And that is, well, John, how do I mean, now hold on a second. I'm comparing myself to other people who are currently the best. Okay. So that's where I think instinctively can go adrift, right? We could say, well, how do I be the best? Do I cut them down? I'm not willing to do that, right? Now, some people are, right? There's sociopaths and people who are just suppressive in life, and they build themselves up by diminishing you. I'm not suggesting you do that, nor do I think that anyone here has that proclivity, right? You're probably not, a sinister person. Okay, so that's cool. So how do you be the best? Well, then you build yourself bigger. So that's the issue then. How do you be the best? You build yourself. Who you're becoming is the best, not in comparison to others, but in comparison to whatever your so-called best was yesterday. But it comes down to, and this is something I've noticed, because this is very fresh in my mind. I just came back from a huge convention with thousands and thousands of people and many millions of customers and a multi-billion-dollar operation and hundreds of thousands of people who are doing the marketing side of what we're doing here. And my friend who has spoken in a special session here in the mastermind group once before, my friend Christian, out of all of it, is the number one, him and his wife, the number one business in the entire operation. Millions of people. This guy was homeless for a while. I don't know. I mean, how many of you, probably not too many of you, know who I'm talking about, but I mean, he was living out of a van. Had to send his wife and kids back to their, the in-laws and whatever to go get food and stuff while he, figured out what to do with himself. I mean, he's seen the down times. Now, is that necessary for you to be the best? Do you need to have that sort of a desperation as a launch pad? No, it's not required. But my goodness, can you get some clarity by looking at, what you don't want versus where you want to be, right? So there's clarity through contrast. And as we've often said, good is the enemy of great. So how do you be the best? You don't tolerate good, just like you don't tolerate bad. That sounds intolerant. Well, okay, let's get intolerant then. That's not politically correct. You're not going to hear that all over YouTube right now, are you? We celebrate our intolerance. Maybe a better word is unreasonable, right? Maybe we could swallow that one a bit better. I celebrate our unreasonableness. I've been so reasonable. That's how you don't be the best. Good is the enemy of great. Stop being so damn reasonable. Let's break that down a little bit. George Bernard Shaw said that the reasonable man attempts to adapt himself to his environment. The unreasonable one persists in adapting the environment to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. That's what I mean by unreasonable. I don't mean irrational and that you don't have the mental faculty of reason, right? That you're an idiot or something. No, that's not the way to be the best. Okay, reason is good. Reason is useful. But beyond reason, we have other mental faculties: imagination, intuition, perception, right? Let's talk about that one for a minute. Where I have fallen down in my own use or misuse of the mental faculty of perception is where I will look at, just like David Ponder in this story, right? The guy, the traveler, okay? I will look at my own plight, mishaps, shortcomings, mistakes, and I will perceive them as I can be identified with or as my failings, my shortcomings, my transgressions, my flubs, right? I can be identified with or as that. Now, haven't we all done this at some point in life where we've said, oh, look at that, bad result, therefore I'm bad. See, that's what I mean by identifying, like your identity. Listen to the words, all right? Identify, show me your papers, failure, loser, right? Here's my papers. So with that sort of perception of, what are these circumstances right here, that limits my ability to reach and create. Now, what do we know? That if we're going to be the best at whatever we've decided to demonstrate in our time here on the planet, well, if we're going to do that, well, then well, then we must grow. We must become bigger than we were before. But to be identified with the failings of yesterday doesn't give me the reach, the space to grow. And it's way more inspirational. And I think this is a key. It's way more inspirational to move towards what we want than just out of what we don't want. People put a whole lot of attention onto, getting out of the muck. And that may be a great motivator to get the train moving, but we've got to turn our gaze to where we're going. And that's got to be just as real for us as the, here's the problem, right? Well, the solution has to be just as real as the problem. The answer has to be just as real as the question. And I think people have no problem accepting the reality of circumstance, problems, conditions as they are or were, but I have a hard time swallowing that it's actually your birthright, God's will for you, the guaranteed future outcome, that you demonstrate this greatness, this accomplishment, not just for you, but think about this. Think about all the people when you're the best at something, and when you can like display that outwardly. Does that not inspire? We were just talking about inspiration. Does that not inspire others? I remember I was being mentored by this guy who wasn't perfect either. This is some years ago, some decades ago. Something he said stuck with me, which was counterintuitive. Here I was, a sales leader and a sales team, okay, and very much intending and wanting for people to be successful, right? These are people under my tutelage, right? They're looking to me for guidance, and I'm verbally, intellectually giving freely, right? Here's what I do, here's this, here's that, here's the how-to kind of stuff. And still, the majority of them, well, they demonstrate mediocrity, right? And so I look at myself. Well, what more could I do? Have I failed? Have I not? And here I was making piles of money, and so were some others. But I, coming from the mechanical background, if you've got 10 cars that need repair, the outcome must be 10 running cars. I mean, there's not, if 9 run and one's still broken, well, you're not done. So that's very black and white, very objective. Here's 10 machines, but we're not talking about machines, are we? Right. So it's not so black and white anymore, right? So here's Bob, and he's all fired up and inspired and coachable. That's a big one. and has enough of his own motivation to take these ideas and go be the best himself, put them to use, make a spectacle of himself, right? And here's Jack, and my goodness, this guy can't get out of his own way. And the attention keeps going back to secondary and tertiary considerations. Like, there's in the hierarchy of how to be the best, which is the topic of today. In the hierarchy of that, I would say the top of the pyramid is, who and why, right? Those are pretty important. And down below would be like how and what, right? And then minutia, okay? But if the attention keeps going down the hierarchy to minutia or little how-to things, I've learned that, the how-to pretty much takes care of itself once you've got the why. But without the why, the how-to doesn't really matter. Like, it's just a bunch of moving chairs around on the Titanic. Like, how do you move the chairs around? Who cares how you move the chairs around? This boat's sinking. So building up the individual beyond just the reason of, how to, right? Beyond reason, we're getting unreasonable now. Getting into that higher primary considerations, that's what gets it done. And so what this mentor said to me was, John, your job is to make as much money as you can, as fast as you can. Do that. Another way to say that would be, Wallace Wattles, I'll paraphrase, the best way to help the poor is to not be one of them. Go get rich, Waddle said. And then, people can pick themselves up. You can certainly share principles with people and inspire them by your example. And sure enough, when I look at my own life and having become a top earner in multiple things that I've done, a top producer, it's because I just applied principles that were I got congruent with it. In other words, I had integrity. I had integrity to principles. I became them. And I placed principles above personalities. Like with the whole operation that many of you here know about, we put people above profits. You see, that's a principle-based approach, putting people above profits. Now, I mean, that sounds like good talk, but how many people actually demonstrate that? How many entrepreneurs actually demonstrate that? What's the opposite of that look like? Just to give you some clarity, the opposite is the rat looking for cheese. I said it, Missy. The rat, here he comes, right? I'm trying to get, which is where all of our anxiety comes from, right? I need to get you, get. Does that sound like being the best? I mean, this word space keeps coming up for me. You've got a bit of space. think about just being free, okay, and the various forms of freedom. Financial freedom. You've got more buying power. You've got more. Your money goes further. You've got more space with your money. Think of time freedom, which I just got some more of, and I'm very happy about because I'm going to create all kinds of stuff. So think of time freedom. I've got more space in terms of my calendar, right? Things I can do with my time. Think of location freedom. Well, they're literally, you've got more space, right? I can go here, I can go there. This week, in fact, I think Thursday, perhaps, taking my daughter and wife, we're going to down by Miami somewhere. They've got like a jungle safari campground thing where they have lions and tigers and bears or something. I don't know what I'm getting into. My wife booked it. And so we're going to go live in a camper for a few days before we actually buy one. And apparently we're going to do so with fierce animals. So there's that. Not sure what the theme is, but stay tuned for pictures. Here's the point. My friend, Christian, wouldn't have gotten to demonstrate the best had he not persisted in becoming who he needed to be to have that experience. Okay. And not by cutting anyone else down, but by persisting. And this is the key. Persistent application of principles. For anyone who knows this guy, he's not an orator like me, right? He doesn't need the microphone so much. He says little, well, he talks little but says much. That's wisdom right there. So there's a lot churning inside. And he says, John, a lot of the stuff that comes out of my mouth I just got from you. I'm like, yeah, I get it, man. That's cool, right? So just yeah. So I've become very fond of people who put principles into action, whether they can, train on them or not, whether they've got all the words in the dictionary ready to launch out of their face or not. It speaks very loudly when someone, and you just know it, right? When someone has their heart in it. It's not just an act. It's not fake it till you make it. And there's that resolve of no turning back, because they know, in contrast, they know what the downside is. So now if we're going there, and all we see is our objective, right? All we see is how many people we can help. All we see is the purpose. And then the byproduct of that is, well, holy crap, here's the award. You're number one, right? That's how we do it. That's how we do it. Just like in any, people chase the money. We're talking about the rat, right? So people chase the money, but the money is the byproduct of I think, falling in love with your purpose. And maybe falling isn't the right word, but being so intrinsically, like embodying that purpose to the point where there's never a time when you're off. You don't have to be, pushing the buttons and pulling the levers, right? So when I say off, I don't mean so you've got purpose on or purpose off. You also have action on or action off. This doesn't mean you never take a break. This doesn't mean you live in the factory and you're always pushing the buttons. But this means that the purpose is alive in you. It is you. And then whether you're pressing buttons or pulling levers or not, it's still working. I had somebody ask me, this is again some time ago, John, you became the top person in this company. What do you do for fun? And I say, I sell this product. So it was fun for me. Right. Now that was a doing this, right? That was, something that I was, sure, I was hungry. Sure. I felt like a rat, when I was getting into, becoming successful in such and such operation. But I fell in love with the purpose behind it. And so for me, it never felt like work. Sure, I had problems to solve and there was, this and that, but it didn't feel like, oh, damn, now I got to go press the buttons and pull the levers. This is why I think it's important to drive a nice car. I mean, if you're going to be out there, I know this is a tangent, okay, but if you're going to be out there with everybody else doing the motoring thing, right? Well, you might as well enjoy the buttons and the levers, sound system, the leather, right? You might as well enjoy it. And why not, right? Why not celebrate those craftsmen who have created the nice car, whatever nice car means for you, right? That's fine. I always loved Lexus and Maserati, and it's nice. It's nice. Yeah. Now, if it's just a transportation thing, look, I've got a Harley Davidson in my garage, which costs way more than other two-wheel transportation that I could get. I can get a used Kawasaki or something, but no, all right. So I think enjoy the journey and celebrate those who have also, and whatever your assessment of the best is, right? They've gone ahead and created that. Well, then you get to participate with that, which is a beautiful reminder. And damn it, don't you deserve it? Sure you do, because you've become the best. My friend Grant Cardone got some exotic rolls. I mean, this is his thing. Okay. So like a car, it's like a one of a kind and, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And okay, if that's your thing, And so then he became the person who would have such a thing. And I know we're just talking about things right now, but I think a lot of times people apologize for, having nice stuff or intending to have nice stuff. What, like you get more, somebody else gets less? Now, look, guys, this past couple of years, and it's not a new phenomenon, okay, but this past couple of years especially, the amount of beat down that society has taken from mass media propagandists and all the stuff, what I call the merchants of chaos, right? The news that live in fear, don't reach, don't do, cower, right? The narrative has been so, I think they're desperate. I think that's what it is. I think people are waking up left and right and they're losing control, finally. So I think we're headed for some very beautiful future. But I think the only way for us to demonstrate that is to pick ourselves up out of that narrative, to go into a state of disagreement with that and say, you know what, here I come. And why not me? Right? Enough with this whole beat down. And I'm supposed to be cowed under by, and just be part of these, the commoners, the peasants, the have-nots. Tragically, a lot of people go into agreement with that and they think, well, I'll never have anything more than this, so I better look to some outside entity like a government or some other criminal organization to do for me because I can't do for myself. That's tragic. A lot of people have been conned into that. That's how civilizations fall. And again, Waddles talked about this, right? The person who does not, and this is right out of Science of Getting Rich, the person who does not more than fill their space retards progress. The person who doesn't fill their space, that's a retardant on progress, the economy, the impression of increase, advancing man, the advancing woman, right? So we've got to decide to be the best. Again, not in comparison to what the other guy did. I can tell you right now that my friend Lindsay, who's here with us, has been demonstrating the best Lindsay I've ever met, progressively more and more. Right? So in comparison to what? In comparison, at least in my view, which is valid for me, in comparison to who she was yesterday, 5 years ago when I met her, however long it's been. Right? So that's the correct trajectory. We're on the right vector now, right? I mean, we could apply force, we could apply energy on any vector. But I'll tell you what, we get some stinking thinking in our head, we can go on the wrong vector and go full throttle. And I've done it. Yeah. So how to be the best is to decide that you are the best. Make a decision about that. The best at what? At fulfilling this purpose. What purpose will you tell me? What is the purpose of all this? Solomon said, where there is no vision, the people perish. So we damn well better sell ourselves something. This is what I stand for. As the old saying goes, if I don't stand for something, I'll fall for anything. So what's your thing? Right? Collect those. And again, we're not talking about just things. I know I talked about, having a nice car. That's fine too. That's not the purpose though. Right? My purpose, just in case I haven't said it in a while, is to expand prosperity and prosperity consciousness for as many people as I could touch in my time on this planet. That is my purpose. This action we're doing right now, here's a mastermind group, here's a internet broadcast. Okay, that's one mechanism to further that purpose. That's the doingness, but the being is above the doing. Now, when I get really clear about that, and I maintain that trajectory and that resolve, right? Then other methods of doing appear, and we go faster and faster, and I've got bigger and bigger results. But again, it wasn't chasing the result. This is key. The way to be the best isn't to just think about the money, the Lamborghini, the whatever the stuff is. Yeah, the stuff's cool. Get the stuff. Unapologetically, get the stuff. All right. But fulfill that purpose, and then you get the stuff. Be that purpose. Demonstrate. There it is, right there. And as Napoleon Hill said, shut your mind tightly against negative influences. Don't forget who you are. Man, I forget a lot. Anyway, I just got some great reminders. So good news for everyone in our midst, right? Because this stuff is going to be coming out of me. Like, I just got my batteries charged, like way charged. So stay close, everyone. We're going for a friggin' ride. I mean, if you're into success, we're all about it at 100% throttle, 100%. Wait till you see what happens this next year. Good news for everyone who's here. Really, really, really freaking good news. So let me stop talking. There's that. Be the ball, Danny. Chevy Chase. Be the ball. Great point. Great. Now that's obviously pun intended, right? Be the ball. But we have the ability to stop disidentifying with our purpose. If I can identify with my failings and that becomes my identity, well, then let me identify with my purpose and let that be my identity. Right? I mean, if we're going to play that game, well, then let's play it, but let's play it deliberately. It works on either vector. The solutions must be just as real as the problems. The answers must be just as real as the questions. Must be, or I lose. You guys have any thoughts on this? No. Yes. Hi, Missy. I was waiting for you. And then we'll go to Allie over in England. Hey, Missy, my friend.
It's such a small change, really, to go from a life of identifying with an outside circumstance, like identifying with an illness and thinking that that's what you are, to just go like that. But you have and be identify as the person you're really supposed to be. But it takes that awareness, and it's awareness is a power. And Neville Goddard wrote a book called The Power of Awareness. And without that awareness, you cannot really take a step, because it's like you have a rope around yourself or something. And you're like, I want to move. Why can't I move? Because you're holding a rope against yourself. But that's one of the things that this group does. It helps you wake up, wake out of that dream or nightmare that I'm only this. And it's not just, there are many, 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 many. There's no limit to what we can be, but we have to become aware.
Yes.
And we usually need some form of mentorship to help us. Not everyone, but books are mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
Think and Grow Rich is mentorship. That's why it has to be read over and over and over again and inculcated, not just read.
Right.
But until you have that awareness, you can't make a move. So you could go fall asleep again and not realize that you've fallen asleep. So you got to keep waking up. That's my thought.
Amen. Missy, I've never done this alone. Any big breakthrough I've had, and I've had a few, has come through the catalyst of another or others. Right? It's not, here's John arrived on his island or something. No. Right? I just had a breakthrough this week, right? By the demonstration of my good friend. And as far as the rope, my Italian mother, Missy, would call her dog Dope on a Rope. Dope on a rope. Oh my goodness. Don't be the dope on the rope. Allie, how are you, my friend? Let's get Allie out here.
Hey, hiya. How are you all? Lovely to see you. Yes, so much, Missy. So agree with that. Over the last couple of years, all the things that I've learned, seeing how much the majority of people live from the outside in, looking at their outside circumstances, and living from what they see instead of living from the inside out. And that's been a massive learning thing for me. How you can take life by the neck and do what you want with it, rather than just let life deal you the blows, kind of thing. I love that persistent application of principles. It's just that consistency and persistence. And I've really seen that in my life, how with my change of mindset, how I've been persistent in various things and absolutely got my wins. Which is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Because I know with my previous mindset, I would have not been persistent. I would have looked at my results and thought, I'm not getting anywhere, instead of thinking, that's my goal, keeping my goal on, knowing that I will get there if I'm persistent and keep going. And I've done it, which is amazing. To do it in one area of life, and that gives you the confidence to just, carry on and on and on. Right. So yeah, love it. When you say about being the person, would you say it's about really feeling who you want to be, even dressing in the clothes that you want to be, auto-suggestion, and all of that to really inhabit the person that you want to be?
You get all of it, plus identifying with the purpose as who you are. In other words, maybe not the best metaphor, but Batman. All right. So here's the movie Batman Begins with who was the guy who portrayed Batman? Great actor. Have you guys seen
Adam
this?
West.
Yeah, Adam West. Yeah.
No, not no.
Christian
He
Bale.
also played in a Terminator. Anyway,
Christian Bale, was it not?
Christian Bale.
Oh, Christian
Right.
Bale. Yeah, the
Yeah.
recent ones.
So Batman Begins, right? And his mentor was actually a pretty sinister guy. He ran the League of Shadows, right? But he said you must become more than a man, right? So the man can be, killed. The man can be. You must become an idea, right? So he's talking to him about, basically becoming Batman. And so the character of Bruce Wayne, portrayed by Christian Bale, became Batman as a matter of principle, right? To defend Gotham and truth, justice, and all this. Or was that Superman? But you get the idea. He was bigger than just Bruce Wayne, who happened to already be a billionaire, right? So he had a little bit of an unfair advantage in terms of, I guess, his own confidence and his own financial reach, right? We're talking about various kinds of freedom, but to embrace, in his case, which is why I like the story of Batman, to embrace that which he feared. He, was accosted by bats or something. They fondled him when he was a boy, and so he was afraid of bats, right? So he embraced that fear. He became, and he turned that fear into that which his enemies will now fear, right? So he became Batman, which is much bigger than just Bruce Wayne. I don't know if that works for you. For me, that works. That's like, here is. You can even write this down. People go to like therapy sessions and like group, stuff where they figure out like the most powerful words and to describe themselves, and they say, I am that. I am strength. I am humility. I am love. Therefore, here's Allie, who is walking around doing the body thing and whatever, but she is, and pick the words that are most powerful for you. Okay. I don't want to just feed you words. Okay. But here are principles. Here are things that are bigger than just Allie. Go be that. And those are unassailable. So you walk through problems and it's not personal, right? It's the identity of principle and purpose that is walking through problems, that is taking on the marketplace or whatever the endeavor is. Does that make sense? That's your bat suit. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Good stuff.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Everybody needs a bat suit. Linda, where's your bat suit?
I love that. So we're all going to be superheroes in our own little way.
It's kind of like what it is, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Batman
invented Batman. Right.
Yep. I like it. So, so Missy and Allie totally agree. I mean, awesome stuff. John, great topic. And for me, it's like this past weekend gave me a lot of clarity on what my purpose is. So now I feel like I'm aligned, which I haven't felt in a while. So that was huge for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because without the clarity and about your decisions and being in line with that person who you now are, you're really, when you take those actions, you're not really when you're indecision, when you're taking actions, it's just not the same as it is when you are in alignment with that decision.
No comparison.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah. Can't wait to get on that ride with you, John.
Well, we're going on that ride. In fact,
We are going. Yeah.
Linda, I love you. Thank you for being who you are. Thank you for showing up here. I would say that to everybody. Thank you all for showing up here. Like, we all come from different backgrounds. We all met through different means. I remember meeting Ingrid through this wacky, e-commerce thing, which I don't even, Ingrid, you doing any of that? Probably not. Right. So like sourcing products and
because
right.
I stopped pretty soon because I just quickly realized that it was just going to be a shit show.
Just barking up the wrong tree. In your case, right? Now, other people, hey man, that's my thing. All right, go do it. But right there, what Linda was just talking about, the difference between like I'm going to go ahead and try, something and it sounds like it could work versus this is my life and here I come. Here's the pea shooter. Here's the nuke. Do you see the difference? Pea shooter, nuke, right? So all of us have a nuke. We just got to fire that damn thing up, right? Not with the pea shooter trying to fit into somebody else's ideas or whatever.
I think a lot of people tried stuff out at the beginning of COVID because we were just like, bored.
Well, thank God for COVID. It brought us together.
Totally. Yeah.
All right. We got Lindsay and Catherine want to talk too. Hey, Lindsay.
Hey, it just made me think when you're talking about being, your superpower, you're Batman or whomever, but when you hear people say, I'm only human, damn right you are. You're only human. We're the highest form of creation. Are you serious? Yeah, we're human. Get it off your ass and do it. I don't know. That's what's coming to me. I was like, that's a compliment. Yeah, we're human. We have all these mental faculties that nobody else does. No other creature that has that. So,
right.
I love it.
Well, you're an awesome creature. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Catherine, who I got to meet in person. Hi, Catherine.
Yes, thank you. This weekend was fantastic, and I'm so glad you still have so much energy. I'm still dragging.
Well,
But
we just got in at
I'm
6
moving.
a.m. We got off the plane. I did get 2 hours of sleep on the plane and 2 hours of sleep on my Italian leather couch. So I'm good. Yeah.
I don't have that kind of energy yet. I'm moving though.
There you are.
I'm toddling along behind. That's the important thing. I've got momentum. I'm off zero.
Nice.
I just
Amen.
wanted to say thank you. Thank you for this weekend and inviting me and having me there and taking me on this journey with you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. We're expecting big things out of that little lady right there. And even though I'm a little 5'6" Italian, I am big compared to Catherine. And Lindsay too. Lindsay, I haven't seen you in years in person. We need to get together.
No, I was saying, how tall are you, Catherine?
I'm 5 foot.
Oh, you got me beat. Okay. And my husband said, if I get on an elevator with somebody and, you can, somebody's that, he said, your shoulders should go back. He said, it's sizing them up. I'm like, well, just checking.
Yeah. So big energy, small package. I'm with you, ladies. I'm with you.
Yep.
All right. Let's wrap up with that. Go be the best. And then watch what you do now that you're the best. Be, do, and have. I'll see you guys again real soon. All right. In fact, I'll see you tonight. 4 chapters, Traveler's Gift. David Ponder. Interesting. The 7 decisions that determine personal success. Get excited, damn it. This is a great book.